Hello, I'm Annette Young and welcome to the 51%, a show about women reshaping our world. Coming up, in a historic move, Saudi Arabia lifts its ban on women driving, but it's still a tiny step in a country that has one of the lowest rankings when it comes to gender equality, according to the World Economic Forum. Also, digital diversity and how a coding school in London is now offering a scholarship specifically for Muslim women. Plus, we meet Kenyan social entrepreneur Lindy Wafula, who's become a driving force in helping to empower women. But we begin in Saudi Arabia, where King Salman has finally issued a decree that will allow women to drive by June 2018. It comes as incremental steps are being made, with women recently welcomed into a sports stadium for the very first time to celebrate the country's National Day. And also an announcement that female students will have access to physical education in the coming school year. Jessica Sestili has more.
A landmark for women's rights in Saudi Arabia. By June 2018, they'll be allowed to drive in the kingdom for the first time ever. That's thanks to a royal decree and with the approval of a majority of the Council of Senior Religious Scholars. Saudi Arabia's UN representative was keen to share the good news.
Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen, you may be interested to know that a few minutes ago, a royal decree has been issued in Saudi Arabia giving women the right to drive.
This comes after almost 3 decades of protests headed by the Women to Drive movement. Back in 1990, 47 women drove around Riyadh. They were arrested, banned from foreign travel for a year and lost their jobs. Madia Al-Jaroush was one of them, but she never lost hope. In 2013, she got behind the wheel again, recording this activist video saying, "I'm ready, my daughter's ready." Now, speaking to France 24, she praised the historic move.
I am so happy. I'm very excited that we are gaining our dignity and self-respect and being really part of our community and development and share the streets, which was basically a male domain, and now we could actually be driving in the same area side by side. After many years of struggles, we're moving forward.
It's hoped the Saudis' next step could be scrapping restrictive guardianship rules. This is where women have to obtain permission from male relatives to do the most basic of tasks, like travelling, opening a bank account, or even seeking medical aid. But in an ultra-conservative kingdom, any progressive changes to women's rights are sure to be met with staunch opposition. And it still has a long way to go. The World Economic Forum ranked Saudi Arabia 141 out of 144 countries in its 2016 Global Gender Gap report.
Now, while women are seen to be in danger of being left behind in the digital revolution, that doesn't necessarily have to be the case. A coding school in London is offering a scholarship specifically for Muslim women. It's a small gesture in the world of tech that's been rocked recently by claims of sexism among industry leaders such as Uber.
London's hub for startups, Shoreditch. This is home to 23 Code Street, a startup offering software and web development courses for women. Their mission, increase the number of women, especially women from different minorities, in the tech industry. A goal that led the startup to offer 2 scholarships specifically for Muslim women. Halima Waghe, a 33-year-old mother of 3, was one of the lucky recipients.
No background at all in the tech industry, nothing. But I was always hearing about coding, so that's why I decided that even if I didn't have any experience in coding, that it was a nice opportunity to learn and to start from the beginning.
The other scholarship winner, 22-year-old university student Ikra Mohammed, a Somali refugee. Her interest in web development landed her here at 23 Code Street. It's this diversity, along with gender equality, that the startup's founder hopes to see more of in tech.
I started to see the impact this was having and seeing that there was a lack of diversity in these places that was causing a real issue. Things like not catering for women when you're building applications, forgetting that there was disabled people that you need to cater for.
Anissa launched the scholarship with Nafisa Bakar, the founder of Muslim lifestyle website Amalia. Both women have experienced the difficulties of being among the few Muslim women in tech.
Ultimately, the people that know how to code and the people that are aware of these languages are the people that inform what products are being built and the inclusivity behind these products and things like that.
Nafisa is hopeful that the number of women coders will continue to increase.
And as it's been noted on this show before, it's impossible to reduce poverty without working to achieve gender equality. Lindy Wafula is the CEO of Village Ventures, Kenyan enterprise investing in social innovation for rural development. She's also the co-founder of Project Africa, a non-profit organisation established in Kenya to promote the empowerment of women. And she joins me in the studio today. Lindy, thank you so much for coming and talking to us. It's very easy for us in the media to use the word Africa, but we're not talking about just a continent. We're talking about many different countries, many different cultures and many different sort of traditions. But there's one common theme, isn't there? And that is the inequality of women in many of these places.
It is true. I actually always ask myself, what will Africa be like? 54 nations, 54 states in the continent. How will it be if we had women politicians, if we had women presidents in all the 54 countries? Would we still see poverty? Would we still see lack of resources? Would we still see girls and women being illiterate? I think we won't.
I want to talk about your story because it is an extraordinary story. You were 14 when you lost your parents to HIV/AIDS. You effectively had to take over the running of the family, but again in a society which really doesn't pander to women who take charge.
It is really difficult. Actually, at the age of 14, like you said, I lost my parents to HIV. My dad died first, and my mother 2-3 years later after my dad. And being that my sister and I are the oldest in the family, we were not allowed to inherit. We were told girls cannot inherit. And whatever property was there that belonged to my father, we could not be able to own.
And that's a common theme right across Africa, isn't it?
It is a common problem that runs across all the nations of Africa. Many tribes, many communities go through that.
As I said at the beginning, it's impossible to address the issue of reducing poverty without looking at the issue of gender equality. Are governments in Africa starting to wake up to this?
Oh, I'm honoured to come from Kenya, which is a country that is already making an impact in the continent. And it is because of the Constitution. In Kenya today, the Constitution gives women the right to demand that not more than 2/3 of either men or women should be in public office. And because we are saying that in Kenya that we can be able to respect the Constitution, we can be able to demand of what the Constitution gives to us, more and more women in Kenya now are rising up and demanding for their rights.
And you've also done a lot of work, haven't you, in terms of your NGO Project Africa, where you've looked at empowering women, and particularly in the field of politics. Is there one success story that really stands out for you, Lindy?
Well, it is a great success. Actually, I've been sharing with the global world of what we have been able to do from the villages of Kenya, working with women. And these are people that we have seen putting themselves together, women coming together in groups and saying they know that there is power in numbers, that they know that if they can come together as a team, they will be able to solve some of the problems that they see in their communities. So when I ran for office in 2010, the first time, of course I lost, but I was inspired by the women. They told me, you are a voice in the community. Go forth and speak on our behalf. I lost. I ran again in 2013. But I was again inspired by the women in one of the projects that we did, where I designed a program to train women as lady mechanics. It is car mechanics, the automobile world in Kenya and in Africa. Of course, it is the men. All the cars you'll see being driven, mostly it's the men driving those cars. It's the men who own the cars. It's the men who own the garages. But I said, how will the men, how will the community understand that women can do what men can do? And we designed the Lady Mechanics Project, sent a couple of women, about 60 of them, to different garages in Nairobi, and the men trained the ladies on how to repair cars. This turned around my political life. Because when I ran for office in 2013, the men didn't just see Lindy, a woman, they saw a woman who can run in politics, which is a field also that is dominated by men. But I lost again, but I've not given up.
Your story is very inspiring, and in terms of what you're doing by empowering women, are you optimistic about the future of your country, but also about the future of women in Africa per se?
I am very optimistic. I always remember my mother before she died. She kept on asking me, my daughter Lindy, I see you being the best in class with the best grades. What do you want to become when you grow up? And I told my mother one day, Mama, I want to become the president of Kenya. It's a dream, but I believe Africa will continue seeing women in politics and women becoming presidents in the continent. Because I know women are able to bring about change, women are able to turn around the captivity of what our communities go through. We will not be able to see the poverty that we see in Africa today if women are in leadership. And I learn from different other countries. I travel a lot all over the world. I've lived in Scandinavia, in Sweden. I'm in France today. But these are countries that have seen the power of women in government, in leadership. Why not Africa? We will get there.
Lindy Wafula, it's been a pleasure speaking to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And that's it for this program. And if you're interested in commenting on what you've just seen, you can, of course, head to our Facebook page, that being France24.51%, or do send us a tweet at _51%. Thanks for your feedback so far, and please do keep those comments and suggestions coming in. Until our next show, bye for now.